Hi, 8th grade. This is Lexi, obviously, coming to you from a video. So, with the way things are going right now, with everything coronavirus, with you guys having no school, we have to move to a video format for our faith formation, for the foreseeable future. And so every week, you guys are going to be getting a video from yours truly on the things we've been talking about. So we're going to keep going with Alteration, maybe add in a few things here and there. And yeah, just keep growing in our faith, keep learning about the Catholic Church, all that kind of stuff. And I have to say, I do miss you guys a lot. It's pretty sad that I don't get to come to class on Wednesday night and see you guys, even the people that are in Megan's class. We miss you guys a ton, and we hope you're having a fun time. Note for my class, the next time I see you, whether it's this year or next year, whatever it might be, I promise I will bring those brownies that I have been promising for so long. And I'm so sorry that it has come down to this video format, but I promise those brownies will be coming at some time. So before we dig into our Alteration lesson for the week, I just wanted to go over a few things with you guys with this whole pandemic, everything that is going on. So obviously, the Diocese of Crookston, Diocese of Fargo, pretty much everywhere in the country has canceled public masses. Our bishops have decided that as the best way to go, knowing that we have a lot of older people in our parishes, people that might be at risk with their immune systems. And so we need to protect those that are vulnerable to coronavirus, and do what we can to stop the spread of the disease. So since public mass is not happening, there are so many churches that are going online, live streaming their masses. St. Joe's is one of them. So they will be posting a live streamed Sunday Mass every week, I believe. This week they posted on Saturday, so you could have it starting Saturday evening, watch it whenever you want on Sunday, and I believe it will stay up. So a cool thing that you could do is make a routine with your family. Keep that routine that you guys have had of going to Mass. Get up, watch the Mass in your living room, follow along, do all the things they would do in a normal Mass. And since we can't receive communion physically, we can make a spiritual communion. So if you look up spiritual communion on Google, a prayer will come up. And this is a way to spiritually receive Jesus in the Eucharist if we can't do it physically. Beautiful prayer. I highly recommend you look that up. And there's a lot of cute little pictures you guys can download on your phones. Open that up after you're done watching Mass for the day, and just say that as a family. It will really help keep that relationship with Jesus strong. And also there are a ton of churches that are live streaming daily Mass as well every day. So you can log on to Facebook, look up a church. A lot of them have them at different times of the day. Some of them have them at 8 a.m. I know Cathedral of the Holy Spirit in Bismarck, where I'm from, if you look them up on Facebook, they do a live stream Mass at 8 every morning, and that stays on their Facebook page. Same thing with St. Paul's Newman Center at NDSU. They have a daily live stream Mass at either 5:15 or 5:30, where you can just log on to Facebook, watch that daily Mass, and that's also a great way to stay connected to your faith, continue to hear those scriptures, just stay in close community with everyone in the Catholic Church that might be watching them at the same time that you are. There's also a ton of places that are live streaming Adoration, the Rosary, Divine Mercy Chaplet, so many things that you can do. I just really encourage you to find a routine with your faith. Find a rosary. Say there's a rosary that's live streamed every Thursday at 3 p.m. You're going to go on every Thursday, 3 p.m., say the rosary. Do it with your family, do it with your friends. If you're not with your friends, say, hey, text them, say, hey, let's all pray the rosary. I know it sounds, it might not sound like the most enjoyable thing, but I promise it will really help your faith, and I know that you will come to enjoy it. So with that, we're going to go into our alteration lesson for the week. So I am going to be starting at session 4. I know that we might be in a few different places, but to stay on track, we're going to start with session 4 today. If you guys have any burning questions from session 3, let Melissa know, and I will answer them in the next video. So this session is all about talking about the intimacy that we have with Jesus in the Mass, and I think it is perfect for our first video, since we're talking about how we need to stay strong in our faith life, watching live stream masses during this time of being quarantined. We all have this longing. Every person, every human person has this longing for this intimacy, this connection, no matter who they are. And that true intimacy that every person has that deep longing for can only be found in Jesus. And so find him in the Mass, find him in your faith. There's so many opportunities for that, especially now with these live stream masses. And so I want to tell you guys a quick story that comes out of this Alteration book. So there is a boy, it doesn't say his name, but it was his senior year, and he was really mad at God because it seemed like his friends had abandoned him. There were a lot of people gossiping about him, just a lot of bad things. He was really mad. And the reason for that is he had decided to turn his life around. He'd kind of fallen into a bad crowd, a lot of drinking, a lot of partying, and he decided that he wanted to turn his life back to God. And so he went away from those friends, he went away from that lifestyle, and he decided he was going to follow Jesus wholeheartedly. And because of that, his friends shunned him, and they said, hey, if you're going to do that, that's not cool. We don't want to do that. We don't want to be friends with you. And there were people were gossiping about him left and right, all that kind of stuff. And so he was mad. He was mad at God. He had taken away, so to speak, his senior year, all the fun things that came with it. And that went on for a while, him being mad. And then he realized that in that time, he was able to really explore his relationship with Jesus and say, why am I going through this? Why am I struggling? Why am I suffering? And he ended up finding friends that are true friends, that stuck by him no matter what. They didn't drop him when he fell into something that they didn't like. They stuck by him, and they helped him grow in his faith. And that's exactly what I want you guys to take away. Follow Jesus wholeheartedly. Turn away from those things that probably aren't good for you. Find those friends that are going to be true friends, and stick by them. So then going with that, entering the mystery, as this portion is called. These are just some incredible stories about the saints that have just had such a deep relationship with Jesus through the Mass, through the Eucharist. And so a story, St. Clare of Assisi, if you know her, she was a nun in Assisi, which was a very small town. And in 1244, the Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II was at war with the Pope. And so since he was at war with the Pope, he was at war with the Church. And he sent armies throughout Italy to attack several Catholic communities. So Clare's monastery being one of them. And so she was bedridden at this point. She was very sickly, very small, didn't have a lot of strength. And she heard that this army was going to be coming through and attacking them. She asked for a priest to bring the Eucharist to her bedside. And she took the Eucharist and she went outside. She went up on the roof of her monastery and she held up the Eucharist and she said, "I beseech thee, good Lord, protect these whom now I am not able to protect." What a prayer, right? This tiny little nun holding the Eucharist up on the roof of her monastery saying this. And this is from the book. It says, "At that moment, witnesses say the invaders stopped dead in their tracks. Their faces became almost ghostly white, and they fell back from the walls as if they had been struck by lightning. Such is the power of the Eucharist." Another example, St. Joseph of Cupertino. He would levitate during Mass. He literally would come up off of the ground because he had the power of the Eucharist within him. And he was so in love with the Eucharist that he would levitate. St. Philip Neri, he would have sparks shoot out of his eyes and his hands. You can only imagine what that would look like in a Mass, right? The sparks were flying out of the priest's hands and eyes. And St. Teresa of Avila, she would become so overwhelmed during communion that she would enter into an ecstatic state and she would be unable to move. She had to be carried out after receiving communion. And I think that is just so beautiful, and it really is a testament to our faith and to the power of the Eucharist. And so during this time, stay close to Jesus. Don't let him slip away. I know you guys don't have school, and I know you have schoolwork to do, but I think for most people, we all have a lot of extra time in our schedules all of a sudden. So use this time to grow in your faith. Use it to obviously do fun things, hang out with your family, bake, do crafts, whatever you might want to do. But use this time to really grow in your faith. Don't let it slip by you. When you look back on this time, years are going to go by. You're going to look back on this time. And you can either say, wow, I really grew in my faith during those couple of weeks where I couldn't go to Mass or I couldn't go to school. Or you could look back and you could say, wow, I really let my faith slip away from me there, not going to Mass. It really hurt me. But it doesn't have to be like that. You guys can stay strong. Talk to your friends, hold each other accountable. Say, hey, did you watch Mass on Sunday? Did you tune in to the live stream? Do all of those kinds of things. Stay close to Jesus. He wants to be close to you. And you guys, I want you guys to stay close to him as well. So thanks for tuning in this week. We'll have another video coming your way next week. I hope you guys have a great week with your family, getting a lot of schoolwork done, and we will catch you next week.